I experienced the same thing growing up as a kid. I was this skinny, gangly, couldn't gain weight for the life of me, and I was always just eating, eating, eating. It's funny how that nutrient density we never grew up with that. It was just here's what you're eating tonight. I mean, I remember fast food was a luxury item for me. Like if we
Yeah.
got to go to Zips, which was where I went, it was like you were like a rich kid. So yeah, we'll get to that mindset piece. I think it's just fascinating what we grew up with. What were the feelings that you experienced from the judgment, the humility, the like all the things when you were going through this process?
Yeah, so first of all, I went into this thinking this was going to be a physical transformation. I'll gain some weight, get some man boobs, a big gut, a big butt, and then I'll lose it, and then I'll learn some things maybe. But what surprised me was how much of this became mental and emotional for me. So what happened is my identity was based on what my body looks like. So that goes for most people, whether you grow up in shape or whether you grow up out of shape, our body image becomes our self-image. So once I started gaining weight, I freaked out. Like I wanted to go tell complete strangers that I wasn't really overweight. I'm like, you guys, you don't know me, but I have to tell you that I'm normally a fit guy and I'm doing this experiment. Go to this website, it'll explain everything, but just know that this isn't me. Because I was so uncomfortable being overweight for the first time in my life, it really messed with my head. And so this journey became way more mental and emotional than I ever imagined. And I remember there was one experience that I had where my daughter was 2 years old at the time, and um, she wanted me to chase her around the house because 2 year olds have so much energy. And I came home from work, I was tired, I was exhausted. A lot of people don't know I had a full-time job in the medical field during this whole experiment, by the way. So I came home from work one day, exhausted, tired, overweight, obviously. And she's like, "Daddy, come play with me." And so I ran around chasing her. That's kind of what the game she wanted to play. And after a couple minutes, I was winded. I had chafing, which became an issue, which I didn't wasn't prepared for. And I remember sitting on the couch taking a break and saying, "Hey, Daddy needs a break." And she was trying to pull me off the couch. Like, "No, Daddy, come on, come play with me." And she had these like puppy dog like tears coming from her eyes, and because she was so sad, I couldn't play with her, and it broke my heart that here I was doing this on purpose to myself. But how many millions of other people out there can't play with their kids or their grandkids because of their health? And how bad does that suck as a human, as a parent, to not be able to play with your own kids? And that's where my eyes started to open about the emotional side of transformation, how much of this journey was emotional. And that's why it was so humbling. But that's where I learned all my lessons were on the mental and emotional side.
And I remember you watching that clip on Dr. Oz of you where you were going through like your blood work and your kind of health, your state of your health. Your whole health tanked basically,
Yeah.
as far as your everything stored in your liver and just all the toxins and your blood pressure and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did have a doctor monitor me throughout this whole experiment, so I wasn't, a complete idiot about it. I wanted to make sure I was going to be alive at the end. So I hired a doctor to do blood work, but then Dr. Oz had me on, and it was really eye-opening to show what happens to the inside of your body from a medical perspective when you live this way. Because the problem that we have as a society is we look at food as, oh, this food will help me either lose weight or gain weight. How is this going to affect my outward appearance? And so if we eat the cheeseburger or fries and milkshake, we're like, oh, that is going to put fat on me. So, but if I eat this salad and drink water, that's going to help me look better or look skinnier. And that's how we look at food. And so what we need to look at it as, which is different, is how is this food going to affect me on the inside? What is it going to do to me at the cellular level? How's it going to affect my hormones? Is it going to help with my blood pressure? Is it going to help with cholesterol? Is it going to help with all these lipids that we are really important that we need to get tested? And we don't look at food that way. But it was really surprising that in just 6 months' time, how quickly your body can decline if you treat it that way. And people have been living this way for 6 years or more, like 6 decades. I was doing that for 6 months. And, I was heading towards cirrhosis. Dr. Oz said I had the kidneys of an alcoholic, my doctor would tell me. And my blood pressure was 167 over 113. My testosterone dropped to the low 200s, which is not a good level as a 31-year-old male. And we don't realize the connection of food and the role it plays on our overall health. We look at it as, okay, gain weight or lose weight.
Not to mention too that, which is in itself a whole reason, right? But how did it affect your mood, how you showed up in the world? Like how did it affect your cravings? It was like an addiction, like towards the end, right?
Yeah. So if you ever get a chance to read my first book, Fit to Fed to Fit, there's an interesting chapter in there, chapter 4, which was written by my ex-wife. So we were married at the time, and she, she, it was from her perspective what I went, or how it changed me as a husband, as a dad, just as a person in general. It affects your personality, it affects your mood, it affects your energy levels, it affects your hormones. So yes, I was more lethargic. I had less energy to help out around the house with the kids or doing chores. I was more self-conscious. I didn't have the libido that I used to
Mhm.
have, which isn't fun. And all those things were like this huge eye opener for both of us into, how food affects you in so many other ways other than just gaining weight or losing weight. And that's what, was really surprising to me and eye opening for me. Plus all the people that were following me, they're like, wow, if you saw my videos on YouTube, you could see how I changed. And if you get a chance to read the book, it would be an eye opener for you to see the correlation between that, because people sometimes don't realize, oh, I'm more tired. Maybe I need to take a prescription pill,
Right.
or more coffee, and more energy drinks or something to wake me up, instead of looking at your lifestyle as a whole and what can you change. And so, anyways, yeah, it was a very eye opening thing for me, plus a lot of followers.
I don't think people understand that what is inside those foods is literally built to create addiction and to create this thing where you're never full. And so I'm really trying to bring that part of it to light, and also that it contributes to the cravings. It makes the cravings worse. And it's this vicious cycle, right?